In the middle of summer, when cicadas and lawnmowers are taking turns maintaining a constant hum in the air, it's hard to imagine the cold, snowy weather that winter will bring. But the Department of Public Works has an impressive reputation to maintain. So while neighborhood homes had air conditioners struggling to keep them cool, the DPW was already preparing for the winter months.
We start our winter preps to get ready for the snow, believe it or not, in July. And we'll start prepping our trucks through our fleet maintenance department, doing your basic stuff like oil changes, making sure hydraulic systems work in the vehicles. We'll take delivery of salt. As you can see, the salt barn behind me, we'll make sure that's full.
So right here I can turn around?
As we head into September, October, we start doing refresher training for our drivers. Some of our newer drivers will just put a plow on a truck, make sure they just get the feel of doing it again. If we have any new employees coming into the mix, we'll train them on the small trucks and the big trucks and just make sure everybody's ready to go for the first snowfall.
There are over 400 miles of roads in Sterling Heights, but not all of them are the responsibility of the city. About 50 miles of roadway are maintained by the Macomb County Roads Commission. They include even-numbered mile roads, M59, Van Dyke, Shaner, Mound, Moravian, Utica, and Hayes. The other 350 miles of roads are the responsibility of the DPW. With such a heavy burden to bear, the DPW divides the city into 3 categories: Priority 1, 2, and 3 roads. Priority 1 roads are the main arteries in the city and receive first attention. Priority 2 roads are the collector streets that lead in and out of the subdivisions. Everything else is Priority 3. During a light snowstorm, the DPW will salt and, if necessary, plow Priority 1 roads. However, if the city is expecting a heavy snowfall and weather is expected to remain cold, a snow emergency parking ban advance notice may be declared.
A snow emergency happens when the amount of snow exceeds between probably 4 and 5 inches. It's a determination that's made by the director of the DPW, the street services supervisor, the police department, and even city administration. We'll have a meeting, we'll all come together and decide that the neighborhoods are starting to get treacherous, and then we will declare a snow emergency and begin snow removal operations. And that's when we really would like to have the residents have all their vehicles off the streets. Once the vehicles are off the streets, we can plow curb to curb, clean the streets up, salt them, and make them safe to drive on again.
The city will be sure to inform residents in a variety of ways when a snow emergency is declared. A press release is provided to local media, a crawl is shown on SHTV, and the city's website and its social media channels all offer notice. Residents can also sign up for text alerts.
When a snow emergency is declared and we pull in all the subdivision streets, we will incorporate the entire DPW into that. We'll pull from our water division, our sewer division, our fleet maintenance division. And the reason we do that is so we can run around the clock. So we'll have personnel staff 24 hours, 7 days a week until that snow emergency is complete.
Once a snow emergency is declared, residents are required to remove parked vehicles from city streets. This is to ensure the DPW can clear your neighborhood in a fast, safe, and efficient manner.
It's very hard for a large vehicle that's meant to be on basically long runs on a highway type of road to go into a subdivision and then have to maneuver around cars. These vehicles are hard to turn at times. They're driving in inclement weather, so they're dealing with that as well as trying to get around a vehicle. It just really makes the operation very hard when we have to go around a vehicle. And then another part of that too is once we do and then that car decides to move, then there's a big pile of snow in the street that people have to maneuver around as well because the truck couldn't get that snow out of the way on where that car was. So it really helps us out when the roads are clear.
Of course, the snow has to come off the end of the blade to clear neighborhood streets. This means that residents will need to shovel out the end of their driveway after their street has been plowed.
And that's probably the biggest complaint we get is my driveway's been plowed in and now I have to shovel it out. And unfortunately, that is just a terrible byproduct of what we do. We have to get the snow out of the street. Unfortunately, it goes towards the driveway, and that's not our intent to bury people in. But in order to get those streets cleared for emergency vehicles, school buses, and normal vehicles, we have to put the snow somewhere, and that's where it goes to the curb. I would highly encourage residents, once that snow is put into their driveway, if they could shovel it as quickly as they can. It won't have time to freeze up, and it'll be easier to remove. I would also just say this to the residents as well. Our drivers are out there 16 hours a day plowing the snow, doing the best they can, and they have to go home and shovel their own driveways in many cases. So it's definitely, nobody's trying to do this on purpose. It's just what happens when you live in a cold weather state that unfortunately drops a lot of snow on us from time to time.
Waiting for your street to be plowed can be a frustrating experience. The DPW knows this. So along with their all-hands-on-deck approach to snow emergencies, the Public Works Department also cycles between 2 plowing district maps, so each resident is treated fairly.
So if we have a snow emergency and you were, say, in a section that was considered Route A for the first snow emergency, the second time you will be Route B. If you were last the first time, you'll be first the second time. And 36 square miles in the city, I realize it's very hard for people to sometimes have to wait a little longer, and we do apologize for that, but we try and get everybody as quickly as possible.
The personnel at the Public Works Department are dedicated to providing the best possible service during a snow emergency. With a little help from the residents, that work can be done in a timely and cost-effective manner. So, let it snow. Your DPW is ready.